Congratulations to the top three finishers of the 2019 Japanese Grand Prix. In third place, Lewis Hamilton. In second place, Sebastian Vettel. And taking the sixth win of his career and his third win of 2019, the winner, Valtteri Bottas. Many congratulations, Valtteri. Great race by you today. Can we start by talking about the start? How good was it? Almost as good as Austria 2017?
Not quite. I think nothing compares to that. But Sebastian nearly had as good as that one, I think. But I did have very good start. But for sure it looks better if there's cars around that doesn't have a good start. So, but it was one of the good ones I've had and very much needed because we knew we have a good race car here with a good pace But if you're behind other cars, you can't really use it that much. So I was very happy to get to the lead, and obviously it's quite different being in the lead and being able to control. And on this track in the free air makes a difference. So really enjoyed it.
And once in the lead, did you have any other concerns during the race?
Everything was going pretty smooth. Just the second stint was full of traffic, so I was overtaking back markers all the time. So couldn't really have good rhythm and very good pace in that stint.
You could have slowed down. You could have slowed down.
Yeah, but I didn't want to. Otherwise, when Lewis still didn't stop for his second stop, I was slightly concerned that maybe his tires would last to the end and he could actually make it because he had a decent gap to me. But obviously, he was on the medium, so I think that tire would have struggled massively in the end. So, from my side, obviously very good race. And on top of that, very happy for every single team member getting the sixth constructors title. Really well deserved. It's just not the result today, but all through the season. So very proud.
Well done, Valtteri.
Okay.
Thank you. Well, Sebastian, coming on to you. Can we start at the start? What happened from your point of view?
Well, obviously I had a poor start, so I lost quite a lot of momentum when the lights go off. Mistake on my side. I think I had in my hands literally to perform a good start. Normally starts are really strong, and obviously today we didn't get it right. I don't know what happened to Charles, but obviously we both lost out on the start, maybe for different reasons. But after that, obviously we knew it's going to be a difficult race. Overtaking isn't straightforward here, and obviously in terms of pace, it was very difficult. We could see in the first stint that Valtteri was just quicker, especially towards the end, and Lewis was catching. He was basically at the very close to me when we pitted. So I think overall we got the strategy right to probably stay ahead. I don't know if maybe they didn't get it entirely right, but not the day we wanted. If you start first and second to I don't know where Charles finished sixth, did he? So finishing second and sixth. So.
Were you concerned about getting a penalty for the start?
I don't know. Not really. Obviously, I had a very poor start in general. So, yeah.
You're lying. Come on.
No, I didn't. If you jump the start, then obviously you get caught. So I think it was just fine.
And Sebastian, we saw a thrilling battle between you and Lewis at the end of the race there. How much did you enjoy that? I was surprised, obviously, when they pitted, to be honest. I don't know. I expected him to stay out and try the one stop. But once I knew that, obviously, also before Valtteri was so far away and we were not faster, it was not possible to catch him. So when he came out, I wasn't rushing to try and open the gap. I was, just trying to keep my tires somehow fresh. To make sure that if he arrives, then everything is still in good shape and I have the chance to have good corner exits and play the advantage we have down the straights, which worked. Got a bit close once with traffic, but other than that, I think he was quite good. So I was quite happy when I saw the checkered flag. I didn't want to do another 5 laps like that. I knew obviously in the places where he can't pass that I can take it easy to try and maintain the tires a little bit. Thank you, Sebastian. Well done. Lewis, coming to you. Sebastian was surprised that you came in for your second stop. How surprised were you to be called in?
I wasn't surprised. The team put me on a 2-stop, so I knew already when they put the median on that was going to be the case.
But do you think, as the race played out, you could have got to the end on that 1 stop?
With better guidance, I think I probably could have. So they said that it would be when we put the tire on that we're going to a 2-stop because the degradation is high. So then just the direction I was given in terms of having to try and close the gap to Seb. So every time I was having to close this gap, so use the tires quite a lot. So in how I was using, there was no way I was going to make it to the end on that. If I had from the beginning said we're going to just eke it out and just see if we can manage it, then I could have just driven differently and potentially held it to the end, but all in hindsight.
And Lewis, you've been with the team for all 6 constructors' titles. How does this one rate against the others?
It definitely feels a little bit different. Obviously, I wouldn't say it's as happy as previously because naturally we lost Nicky this year and it doesn't feel the same without him. So naturally, I'm very, very proud of the team. Very proud of everyone back at the factory, and I know Nicky will be taking off his hat for today's result. And yeah, I think we owe him a huge amount, and really this win is really for him. I think the whole team and the whole Mercedes would probably dedicate this to Nicky. I definitely do. Very, very proud to be a part of it and a part of the journey. And but it has been it's been a tough year for us, you know. And every time I walk into the garage, we see Nicky's headphones and his cap, you know. And I sat and looked at it today before I got in the car, and yeah. As I said, I know he'll be proud. I know his family will be as well. So the team should be proud too.
Thank you, Lewis. Right, let's open this to the floor. And as ever, please remember to give your name and publication. First question, please.
Luis Vasconcelos from our press question for the Mercedes drivers. Valtteri, you asked your engineer if you were sure that Lewis was going to stop a second time. He told you yes, you kept the pace. But then 2 laps later, you had your best lap until that point. That coincided when Lewis came in. Were you starting to have doubts that he was coming in and you wanted to catch just in case? And for Lewis, if the plan was to go to second stops, why do you think they kept you out for so long and at the end of the first stint when you were like 2 to 3 seconds slower than Valtteri and Sebastian?
Valtteri, can we start with you?
Yes, so yeah, for sure I was wanting to make sure what's the race situation and what's going to happen. And at that point, actually, I had some margin to save the engine a little bit for the future races. So that's why I was asking if I really need to go, full gas or if there's a bit of margin for safety. And I think the timing for the good lap times, that was just I was getting through some back markers and then getting to the rhythm again and getting into good lap times. So yeah, all my stints, they were not massively long, so I could really push hard when I wanted. So, and like I said earlier, the car felt really good today, so I was very comfortable to push when needed.
Thank you, Lewis.
I don't even remember what the question was.
Were you surprised to be kept out so long prior to that stop?
Which one?
Second stop. First stop.
First stop. Was I surprised? No, I mean that was the target. That was what we were supposed to be going for. So, what the surprise is, every time you come out by going long, you end up freaking twice as far behind as you were before, which is frustrating because I can't see that, so I'm not aware of that. And I come out and I realize I've just lost another 10 seconds, and I'm like, why? Could have told me if you said I was going to come out 10 seconds further behind. It was pretty much 22 seconds behind Valtteri. I would have said no and would have come in earlier. So yeah, there'll be some discussions, I'm sure, when we get back.
Thank you. Next one.
Heikki Kulta, Turun Sanomat. Valtteri, you have many times said that this is your favorite circuit. Does that feel any different after finally winning here compared to those 5 before?
For sure, it keeps it my favorite circuit for sure. You know, it's not been one of the strengths of mine ever, this track. So, but even though it's been always kind of the favorite that I've looked forward to the most in terms of driving side. So yeah, for sure now it makes it more special track for me, and yeah, it's one of the very iconic Grand Prix in the calendar to win. So very pleased to do that for sure.
Thank you. Next one.
Luke Smith, Crash.net. Valtteri Lewis, record-breaking sixth successive double set of titles confirmed today. One of you two will win the Drivers' Championship. Toto's spoken before about the pride of wearing the shirt, the star for Mercedes. Could you talk a little bit about how proud you are to be part of this record-breaking team and what you built here?
Who wants to start? Valtteri. Valtteri.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I said earlier, I'm very proud. Obviously, it's we're making history, and you know it's funny with anything you do. You know, if you are getting success and so on, sometimes it's quite tricky to realize, you know, that success, and sometimes you need to step outside a step or two to realize it really. And I'm sure we will look back at this afterwards at some point that, wow, you know, we made sixth and hopefully obviously more. But this moment, yeah, I hope we all can really appreciate it and take a time to enjoy it as well, even though we need to keep pushing. But yeah, it just feels like life goes pretty quickly onwards, and it's very important to enjoy those moments. And at least personally for me, I'm really, really proud, really happy for every single team member. I know the work amount that has been gone to achieve it, so very, very happy for everyone, and I just hope everyone realizes that and enjoys it, because it's well deserved.
I think I kind of said stuff earlier on, but I mean, I've been with the team for 7 years. I've been with Mercedes since I was 13, so very proud to you know, be raising the silver star and be a part of this this incredible journey that Mercedes is on. And you know, joining them in 2013 with just the utter belief that we will do something special. It's kind of crazy to see it coming to fruition, you know, all the hard work. And naturally, when I met everyone in 2013, just seeing how dedicated they were there, and it still remains the same. You know, even though we have the success each year, they're hungry, they're driven, they're excited that they have Valtteri and I in the car, and they give absolutely everything. And I love that, and that really inspires me to go out there and drive the way that I do, the way that we do throughout the weekend.
Thank you. Next one.
Jens Nagler, Bild. Two questions for Sepp. First one, how much did you enjoy the battle against Lewis? And second one, if I'm correct, it's no chance whatsoever now to clinch the title for you. So is Mexico the first step of the next attempt, or?
Well, obviously, probably as yeah, I think not happy with the fact that, you know, we didn't have the year that we were looking for. But it's not today that made the difference, not yesterday, not last week, or, you know, obviously it's been a long year and it's still going. So I don't think we're lacking anything. I think we just need to work better. I think we are very committed, working very hard, but it's not yet on the level that can be achieved. Obviously, Mercedes have, you know, shown that in the last years that you can do better, and they've been able to maintain that. I think if we are not in that position, but I would love to be honest, and I'm sure that we would be more enthusiastic by nature, but it's not the case. So we need to work better. As I said, I think we don't need to work harder, but I think we need to work better. So that was your first, and the second question, the first one. Yeah, I enjoyed it, but obviously I knew that, you know, I was a bit of a sitting duck because I was quite slow in the corners and very fast in the straight. So I just tried to play my advantage, and that worked. I'm sure that Lewis didn't enjoy that as much, but in the end it was key to, or we tried as hard as we could to stay ahead, despite being slower at the end. So that's good, but overall, we had a great chance today, starting first and second. Obviously, after the first couple of meters, that was the advantage was gone. But after that, we knew that it would be difficult to where we were to turn it around. And we saw in the first stint that we just couldn't go with them, especially at the end. They were, a lot stronger. So, as I said, there's still room for improvement. It doesn't start in Mexico next year. Next year starts next year. So whatever we can learn this year, I think we learned a lot about our car, the weaknesses. We've improved it, but we're still not there. So we've had a strong couple of races, but overall we're still, I think, a little bit behind. So,
Sebastian, you say you've learned a lot about yourselves. What have you learned about Mercedes this year?
It's very difficult. Obviously, you can't see what they are doing, but I think from the outside they're very close to perfection every time they go out on track. So, very consistent, very little mistakes. So that's certainly also part of what makes them so strong. But yeah, and I mean, if you clinch the constructors' title with 4 races to go, there's a lot of things you do better than all the others. So, if you go in detail, then you can argue what their car is maybe, doing better than ours, but I don't think that's the point. Overall, it's a team effort. And as I said, I think we do have the ingredients, we do have the commitment, we do have the intelligence, but we just need to do it better. So it's a lot of small things. It's not one thing that we need to improve. There's a lot of small things that we need to do better, every single one of us. And that's the only way where we can try and step up. So hopefully they get a bit bored. We'll see what happens.
Thank you. Next one.
Phil Duncan, PA. Lewis, just throwing it forward, you can now obviously win the championship in Mexico. So how important is it for you to get it over the line as soon as you can? And to Valtteri, does this result give you sort of renewed hope that you might be able to sort of do the unthinkable and beat Lewis to the title?
I think for me, it's never been a case of always wanting to rush things. And actually, Valtteri's driven well all year long. He's done a great job today. He will most likely do a very, very solid job these next races. So we still have a battle. The fight continues. I think Mexico is generally our Achilles heel. It's probably our worst race of the year because of the way our car is set up, and it's going to be a tough one for us. I mean, the last few have been pretty shocking, even though we won the title there. I'm hoping for a better weekend, but I think it's going to be very hard to beat the Ferraris with those long straights. We have no hope getting past them on the straights, that's for sure. And but even if you look at the others, the McLaren's picking up some serious speeds on the straights, so as the Red Bull. So I think it'll be a tricky one. I don't anticipate it'll be Mexico. I think we'll be battling for a good few races.
Valtteri?
Yeah, I don't really give up on anything as long as there's theoretical chance. So there's no point for that. I think today was a good example on the track that it's difficult to overtake. You start third, okay, 2 Ferraris ahead. It's a difficult case to win, but it's possible. But yeah, everything's possible. Although I'm realistic as well that I would need to be very lucky. That's a fact, and to win all the rest of the races. But yeah, don't really think about it that much at this point. It is my bad mostly that I've been behind now this much in the points compared to Lewis, and it's my fault, which I try to fix for the future. But this is where we are now, and just take it now race by race and see how it goes.
Thank you. Next one.
Thank you. Ben Hunt from The Sun. Just a couple of questions. Lewis, are you sort of kicking yourself now that you did make that stop, or were you thinking maybe I could have got to the end of the race on those tyres? To the question to the other two drivers, if you was in that same situation, you're leading the race, you've got 22 laps to go, would you have risked it and stayed out? Final question, Sebastian, who's going to win the title out of these two guys here?
Honestly, I'm thinking of what I'm going to eat tonight. I'm thinking about, can't wait to get back to the UK and see my niece and nephew. What's done is done. Naturally, we'll go and sit and talk to the engineers and strategists. I think today it could have been done better. There's been multiple scenarios during the year that's been the case, but nonetheless, Valtteri did the job. I would have had to have driven differently in that second stint. They had said stretch out as far as you can, then yes. Naturally, when I was in the lead, I thought about staying out, but by the time I'd already pushed so much to close the gap to Seb, we should have at least got a 1-2 today. But I think the strategy wasn't optimum for me. It was optimum naturally for Valtteri. But there are a lot of scenarios you can look at. Valtteri had a very good gap in the first stint. He didn't have to stop early because he clearly had a good enough gap. He should have stopped me before Seb to undercut him. But it's always an afterthought, it's always often the first car gets priority, which is always how we've always had it, but we can do better collectively as a team to make sure we score more 1-2s. So we'll just work hard on that, and there's no love lost or anything like that. We'll be pushing hard.
Valtteri, Lewis's strategy?
Yeah, obviously, I don't know. I wasn't in his car, and I can't know how the tires were feeling and how much he was pushing before, and so only thing I know that at this point for him probably computer would have said no, it's not possible with the numbers we had for the tire life. So that's the only thing I know.
Sebastian.
Yeah, I think Valtteri said pretty much it. It depends a lot how you feel with the tires. So I don't know whether Lewis was talking with the team and asking to stay out, or what are the options. But if you get the call, ultimately, that you trust the team and you come in. So, and the second one, Lewis will win it.
Which race?
Doesn't matter. I don't think it matters for him, does it? Wouldn't matter to me.
Any more?
Just
one more.
Press again for Lewis. In the last few laps, you had softer tires than Sebastian, newer tires than Sebastian. You had DRS, and still you couldn't make the move. How worrying is that this gap is too big in terms of straight line speed for Mercedes to catch for next year?
Well, we've got time for next year. I think it's not been a great year for us in terms of the greatest year in terms of our engine development. I think it's been a really hard time for the guys. They've been working as hard as ever, but it's just not been as successful in that department, I would say. Plus, it's quite draggy. So, but we've had great reliability, and hopefully that remains the same. And that's still something to be really proud of course. And we have obviously still won the Constructors' Championship. So. But we'll push to try and maybe reducing drag a little bit, but also increasing power for next year. So they're fully onto it, and I have all the confidence in the world that we'll be able to make some sort of step into the next season. Of course, I get in the tow, Seb. I'm in the tow. I've got the DRS. I've got maximum power and everything, and it's kind of incredible how quick they are. What makes it very, very difficult, even if you've got the advantage on the tyre. But I think it's cool anyways. It provides interesting racing, and I wish we could have had a closer race today, but it's a difficult track to do so.
Thank you, Lewis. Thank you, gentlemen. That's all we got time for. A full transcript of this press conference will be available shortly at FIA.com.